Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Scruggs. My heart is really troubled today, really burdened. I've really went back and forth debating how to even approach this. My fear is if I tell people that I've been having visions from God, that they'll dismiss me and just scroll on. If I don't speak up and proclaim that these are things coming from God, will people even put any weight or stock into what I'm about to say? So I go back and forth and back and forth. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor. I'm just a broken dude that loves Jesus. Spent my life doing ministry, helping others. First responder, firefighter, anything I could do to help. But what I got to share with y'all is God keeps giving me visions about big things that are coming. Not just revivals and powerful, miraculous healings and beautiful lives being changed. That has been in visions over and over and over. My wife's been sharing them on Facebook. I even forgot about a lot of the visions God had given me. My wife recorded. I saw the Asbury revival coming 3 years before it happened. And even November of last year reminded people a big revival is about to break loose. It's about to happen. It's going to fill stadiums. It's going to be across the nation. It's going to spread like a wildfire around the world. Nobody thought much about it. Very few views, very few shares, very few comments. The only time a vision video really started blowing up is one on YouTube that nobody seemed to even pay much attention to until it actually happened on the day that God had showed me it was going to happen. And YouTube blocked my account and shut it down for a couple months because the words that I said in that video came true. They had no problem with it a year before, but after it happened, they shut it down. And they said that it went against their community guidelines. So can I tell you, even though the revivals are still going to spread, even though this revival fire, this passion, this people turning their face back to Jesus, looking to God for answers because of the wars, the rumors of wars, the devastation going on around America, warships on each coast, the possible threat of nuclear attack, while other nations are at war, and all of a sudden sabotage and things are happening in America. We see we're under attack. We see when you have a dozen trains derail in less than a month and a half, and semi-trucks and wrecks in different states, and even chemical plants all having chemical spills, and they all just so happen to have the same chemical. That happens to just be the number one most deadly chemical, according to recent studies done by scientists, the absolute worst, most deadly chemical that could ever be spilled. And all of a sudden it happens 20 different times around our country in the same week, too. Our eyes are opened. We know we're under attack. The truth is hidden from us on internet. So before somebody says, well, I've gone and I've fact checked, and fact checkers say that you're wrong. The fact checkers are being paid by the very people that own the biggest search engines on the internet, trying to hide the very information from the American people. But why didn't our news channels tell us during the Super Bowl in Idaho After 9 substations had already been attacked. After thousands, tens of thousands of homes were without power. Because a hidden enemy, an unknown threat in Idaho was blowing up substations of power plants. And people were losing their electricity. Why weren't we told that the Marines were brought in to protect the power substations? After the FBI announced a $250,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest of who's blowing up these substations. So the Marines, thank God for our soldiers. God bless America. God save America. Thank God for all of our soldiers. All of our men and women who serve, from the police, law enforcement, even to the medical industry. Thank God for all our heroes who stand up and say, enough is enough. This is America. We are free, and you are not taking our country. Why weren't we told that after the Marines had to draw down on the invaders who pulled up to that Idaho station in vehicles with Trump 2024 stickers on the bumpers, jumped out of the vehicle with MAGA hats and Trump 2024 jackets? Okay, listen. I've seen a few people go crazy for their candidate and wear everything head to toe. But after I've seen the attacks on our nation, typically when a carload pulls up, I don't care if they were all wearing I love Biden head to toe, or I love Ross Perot head. I don't care who they're all wearing. But if 3 or 4 guys jump out of a vehicle with bolt cutters and their vehicle's got stickers on it for that candidate, their hats, their jackets, and they're going with C4 strapped around their belts to blow up a substation, I would hope that the rest of y'all are awake enough to realize it's probably set up. It's probably not that candidate's supporters who are purposely wearing all that garb to go blow up somebody's power plant. Common sense tells you, if everybody around you knows that you are a fanatic for the Democratic Party or for Joe Biden or for Ross Perot or for whoever, if you were going to go blow something up, you're not going to try to wear the very things that your friends and family would say, oh, yep, that's Jonathan. Jonathan loves Jesus. Jesus saves on his hat. Jesus saves on his coat. Jonathan's going to go cut a padlock and blow a building up. No, if a criminal's going to go do something wrong, they're not going to be wearing all the stuff that points back to who they are. I don't know why that has to be said, but we live in a day where common sense is no longer common. Where Americans who are supposed to have the freedom of speech are silenced by this very same enemy who's attacking our nation. These very same people who are dumping millions of gallons of toxic waste. Where's the EPA? Where's the tree huggers? Where's the boycotts? Stop blaming the railroad station. It ain't the railroad. It ain't the railroad when every other company of railroads have had the same spills with the same chemicals. Every other semi-trucking company have had the same spills with the same semis. It ain't the railroad. It ain't the company. It's an enemy of America who has risen up, who's trying to destroy and take our freedoms, trying to cripple us and silence our voices, and trying to force us into encampments of 15-minute cities. So many people are saying, oh, Jonathan's gone off the deep end. He's a conspiracy theorist now. Never have been. I've always been a God-fearing, Jesus-loving, red-blooded, patriotic American. I'm proud of our godly heritage. I'm proud of our godly leaders of this land. I'm ashamed at the leaders who have become enemies to the United States. I'm ashamed at any evil plot designed by any man willingly accepting the loss of lives and death as an option, whether their concern supposedly is for the environment or not. If they're so concerned about the environment, how come they're not stopping all these chemical spills? How come they're not stopping all these power plants blowing up? Let me get you the details so that you can either put on your foil hat with me and realize our enemy is being exposed. And God gave me that in a vision. God said that He is going to start exposing those who stand against America inside our nation, inside our leadership, inside waving the flag of, I care about America, while they're the ones plotting and planning these horrible destructions. While they pass bills that say any land with toxic spills on it can be seized by the United States government, and you can be ordered off your family farm forever to never return, to not even take your couches or your mama's recliner. That bill's already been passed, America. They passed that bill right before all those chemical spills started spilling. Just like 16 days before the chemical spill started, they also went into the websites and revamped all of the information on that very chemical 16 days before it was spilled all over our country. They changed it to seem not so harmless. But it hadn't been changed for how many years before? I don't want to go off track and go on a rant. There's so many rabbit holes, and all of them lead back to the same group, the same enemy of America. And let me preface this when I say this. Sometimes there's a bad preacher, but not all preachers are bad. Sometimes there's a bad police officer who lets his ego drive and sometimes abuses the badge. But not all officers are that way. Sometimes there's some weirdos in different lines of work, but that doesn't make all of them weird. Listen to me when I say this. I am not against any group altogether. I always want to single out the ones who are wrong, the ones who are harming America. But when the military Marines guarding that station saw this carload of people wearing all this MAGA garb head to toe jump out of their car with bolt cutters and ARs slung over their shoulders, after 9 substations had already been blown up with C4, military-grade C4. And tens of thousands of people in Idaho and other states went without power. The Marines came out of the bushes, out of their surroundings where they were hidden, and they told those criminals to freeze. Those criminals turned and told them, stand down. Because, see, those criminals were given orders to blow that place up. But the Marines were given orders to save our country. One of the men in all the fake garb pretending to be a supporter for President Trump raised his AR-15, cocking the hammer, pointing it at our Marines who were sent to protect that place and keep it from blowing up. And the Marines opened fire. They had to. When your life is in danger and a criminal's aiming a gun at you, you've got to open fire, because you can't stop and think, I wonder if his intention is to wound me or kill me. If they're a criminal and they draw a weapon down on you when you have told them to stop what they're doing, if a weapon's aimed at you, you better know that you've got to make the decision fast. And the Marines made the right call. And they opened fire, and they protected and saved another multi-million-dollar attack on America. After the fingerprints came in, because the bodies had no license, no wallets, no nothing. Imagine that. No ID on these 3 men sent to do this. There was 4 men, but 3 of them, I believe, were gunned down. The 4th one was a driver. Once the fingerprints were ran. Now, fact checkers are going to tell you, oh, that didn't happen. That's not true. Because fact checkers are being paid by the same group that's sending the attacks to America. So find you a different source. One guy told me on a post recently that there's even a search engine called Brave, I believe, with a picture of a lion. I had been using DuckDuckGo after I found out fact checkers are being paid by the same people attacking America. I stopped using Oogle Boogle searches because they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to lie to you. Well, now I'm finding that even DuckDuckGo is now bringing in some of that Google ties for tracking when they're telling people they're not tracking, and yet they openly have admitted their ties back to Google as well. So I can't use it much longer. But DuckDuckGo will tell you the truth. Look it up. Idaho. Substation attack. 3 people killed by the Marines. Look it up on DuckDuckGo. And you'll find the truth. You'll find stories. You'll find eyewitnesses. You'll find all kinds of truth that the other one says never happened. That's a lie. Fact checkers say it never happened. It's not true. The people that were sent to destroy it were crooked FBI agents. Now, I personally have friends in the FBI that are good men and women who love God. So listen to me when I say this. Not all of any organization are evil, horrible people. Some people are blindly doing what they know is to do. They're blindly serving God, serving the country, doing what they can. But inside every group, every walk of life, every type of person, or group of persons, there's going to be people that turn their lives over to evil and cause harm. But in Idaho, 3 FBI agents were gunned down because they were the ones blowing up all the substations, attacking America. The very ones that are supposed to be protecting. All the way up to the top part of the government are people who are attacking America. While they're supposed to be the ones protecting. Now, this may cause my account to get banned and blocked forever, but it's the God's honest truth. It's what's going on in America. And God, we need God to save America. We need God to keep exposing the criminals, exposing the evil ones who are trying to harm our nation. And He's doing it. He's already doing it. Just as powerful as this huge wave of revival is also the powerful wave of vindication and justice and judgment that's coming against the people who have tried to harm God's children. Wake up. Child of God, believer, we need to rise up. We need to stand up. We need to make sure our houses are in order. Because the enemy is roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. That's his job. But our job is to rise up. Watchdogs, watchmen on the wall, men and women who know in their heart they're God-given heroes. They're the ones that'll stand up when the bullets are flying towards children or innocent lives. They're the ones that'll stand up and draw a weapon and neutralize an evil force who's trying to kill others. Watchdogs, watchmen on the wall, for spiritual warfare all the way to physical warfare. Be ready. Be prepared. Draw closer to God than you've ever thought was possible. Seek His face every day. He'll give you wisdom on everything. I promise you. You don't have to take my word or DuckDuckGo or Brave. You can literally get on your knees and say, God, show me. And the Spirit of God will impart wisdom into your soul. And you'll see this world that's waxed worse and worse. so much before our own very eyes. But the children of God have nothing to fear. Wake up. More's coming. More's coming. But also, the justice and vengeance of God, it has arrived. And you're going to start hearing about it every week, every month, as God keeps exposing more and more people who are doing horrible things to bring us all harm. I love you all. Even if this causes me to lose my account, you needed to know.